Let's start by talking about what a list is. A list is people who have opted to receive emails from you. They may have visited one of your websites or any Web 2.0 property or something similar that you own and said, I want some information, and filled in a form on your page. It may have been a pop-up, an unblockable pop-up, may just have been a form on the page. Whatever it might be, they've said they want to receive emails from you. Usually it's related to a website that you've created. So if you've got a website on stop smoking, you may have a stop smoking list. If you've got one on parrot keeping, you may have a parrot keeping list. If you've got one on cooking, maybe you've got a list on that as well. But they've signed up to your list for a reason, because they want more information on the subject that your website's about, the niche that you're marketing in. They either want the free gift that you signed up, or if they're not quite sure to buy your product yet, so they want some more information, or they want the course that you're offering to give them access to, or anything like that. That's why they've opted in. Now typically your list is going to contain people from all over the world. Don't be surprised if there's people who don't come from your country. Don't be surprised if there's people that don't speak the same language as well as you, or don't understand the colloquialisms you use or some of the terms you use. There's going to be people that are going to be experts in the niche. There's going to be people that are intermediate. And there's going to be people that are complete beginners that have no knowledge whatsoever. What you may also find, if you start being successful in the niche, you're going to get some of your competitors subscribing to your list as well, because they're going to want to check you out and see what you're doing. So this means that when you're contacting your list, you need to make sure that you use language that everyone can understand, or everyone in that niche can understand. You don't want to use colloquialisms or refer to things that are going on in your city or country, because not everyone will be aware of those. In fact, you even have to be wary about saying things like tonight or good morning, because some people reading your email, it's not going to be morning for them. And not everybody, but some of them are going to complain, or it's going to confuse them. You know, they're going to read an email at 10 o'clock at night that says, good morning, it's great weather here, it's doing fantastic. And they're looking out the window thinking, it's snowing, it's not fantastic. And it's not morning, it's night. So you can see, you can confuse people by using sort of terminology that refers to where you are. Depends on how you do it, but in general, it could confuse people. But a list is one thing, and one thing you really need to understand. It's a very valuable resource. A list is going to make all the difference for you in making money online. A list is the difference between earning a decent amount of money and earning a lot of money. Many marketers earn a lot more with a list than they do from their products. But you need to make sure that your list and your autoresponder and your mailings complies with spam laws. Now, many countries have introduced spam laws in a vain attempt to combat the rising problem of spam. I can't remember how many emails are spam now, but it's a ridiculous amount. It's something like 80 to 90% of all emails sent are spam. So it's a serious problem. And unfortunately for you and I as list owners, many companies tend to shoot first and ask questions later when it comes to compliance with these laws. So what you'll find in a lot of cases is, if they complain to your web host about spam, the web host will shut you down and then go, hey, what are you doing spamming? At which time, of course, your business is gone because your website's been shut down. So, firstly, always keep a backup of your sites. And secondly, make sure you are aware of the spam laws and you comply with them. So this means you don't send out unsolicited emails to people. You don't advertise, things that they don't want. So, it's all well and good sending out a message about, say, something like Viagra to a list that would be interested in that. But your parrot keepers, they may not appreciate being sent that sort of email. So you've got to make sure that you comply with the spam laws. And it's for your benefit as well, because if you don't, your messages are going to get blacklisted. They're going to end up in junk folders and spam folders, and they're never going to be read. And of course, that's a problem. One thing you could do, and we'll talk about this a bit further on in the course, is use something called double opt-in to protect yourself with the spam laws. Because with double opt-in, it basically means somebody says, I want to join your list. Your autoresponder then sends them a message that says, hey, someone using this email address has requested to join this list. Was it you, and do you want to? And then they click on the link. Now, the upside of this is you're protected from this. You comply with the spam law. So if anyone comes to you and says, hey, he's spamming me, and this has happened to me, I've had some very nasty emails off people saying, who the hell do you think you are sending me these emails? And I say, hang on, you subscribe to my list on this date at this time from this IP address. You double opted in to my list, so I'm not spamming you. You have forgotten you've signed up to my list. And that tends to send them away. I've also had companies contact me saying, you're spamming us. I'm saying, no, I'm not. This person's requested information, and I can prove to them. I've even had my web host sort of contact me saying someone's complained about spamming, and again, it wasn't spam. I had a double opt-in, so I just showed my web host the double opt-in, said, right, oh, that person, yeah, they signed up on that date at this time, and from that IP address, and they double opted in. Since then, they bought this product, and this product, and they've opened all these emails. So I was able to go back, give them all this information, and my web host just went, oh, fair enough, and just told the person where to go. But you've got to be protected, because you can get yourself shut down, and if your business relies on that, it could be a problem. I want to tell you a little about what's in this course. This is a course about list building. We're going to show you a number of ways to build a list. But I want you to understand why you want a list. A lot of marketers can't get their head around why a list is good. We're going to talk about that in the next video so that you know why it's a good thing for you to have. I'm going to give you some help choosing an autoresponder. I'm going to be honest, it can be difficult. There's millions of them out there. There's hosted services, there's scripts you can install, there's expensive scripts, there's cheap scripts, there's expensive hosted services, there's cheaper ones. Which do you go for? Which one's best? Do you just pick the one that everyone else is going for? We're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. I'm going to talk to you about how you actually build a list. I want to talk about the mechanics of it. Where do you find subscribers? I want to talk about some of the best ways for you to find subscribers and why list building needs to be the focus of your business. I'm also going to teach you some of the most powerful ways to build your list. These are incredible ways for you to build a list and to get people subscribing. Once you've got subscribers, you've got a great relationship with them, you're going to earn a lot of money. But you need to understand what your list wants, and we're going to talk about this in this course as well. I want you to understand what your list is after and how you can give it to them. I'm also going to talk about where to find content from your list. I mean, again, a lot of people are put off building a list because they sit there and think, I've got to write an email to the list every week or every 2 days or whatever it might be, which is great. If you've got one list, no problems. When you've got 10 lists or 20 lists or 100 lists, it becomes a problem, and it becomes quite a serious problem. So we're going to talk about where to find content for your lists so that you're not stuck spending all your life writing content for them. We're going to talk about the importance of a relationship with your list as well. That's vital for you to understand. Now, this course is fully featured. There's going to be lots of information. There is a book accompanying it if you want to print that out and read that, or have it next to you as well. There's some crossover between the book and the video, but there's information that's in the videos that isn't in the book and vice versa. So you're going to have to watch them both and read the book, but the book won't take you too long to read. This information is going to, there's going to be a lot of it. This video course is fluff free, so you're not going to find filler and useless information. It's all to the point, valuable information to help you understand why you need to build a list. So grab yourself a pen and paper, make yourself comfortable, and let's move on to the next video right now. So why on earth would you want a list? Why would you want 20,000 loyal subscribers on your autoresponder? Well, a list is an incredibly valuable resource, and one that I think most marketers, or most marketers that aren't making a lot of money online, undervalue. A list is incredibly valuable. There are many marketers that make more money from the list than they do from product sales. Now, I was talking to a very well-to-do marketer that I know makes between $20,000 and $30,000 a month from his websites. Now, he said to me, and you know, this is absolute genuine. He said this to me. We were having a discussion at a seminar, and you know, I was talking about the fact that I really ought to build a list. This was some time ago, and he said to me, "Do you know what? I earn between $20,000 and $30,000 a month from my products. I can send one email to my list in that month and earn more than I earn from my product sales." And I sort of sat there a minute and thought, "Ooh, that's a lot of money." Then I thought, one email. He probably sends about half a dozen or so in a month. So he's probably making an awful lot of money off of his niche. So that's why these lists are so fantastic. With a list, you're going to make an awful lot of money from them. Potentially, and you know, you need a decent sized list that responds well, you could earn tens of thousands of dollars from a single email. Now, let's face it, the average that people quote in the industry is that you earn sort of $1 per month per subscriber, is sort of a really rough guideline. So that means that if you had 10,000 subscribers, you should earn $10,000 a month off them. If you have 100,000 subscribers, that's $100,000 a month. Not bad, is it? But obviously this varies. It depends upon your relationship with your list. It depends on how much they value what you send out and how relevant the offers that you send them are. Basically, it puts money on tap for you. It means that if you suddenly think, "Oh, I've got to pay my tax bill," or "My car's broke, I need a new car," you send an email to your list, money comes in, problem solved. It's an incredibly valuable resource that will do you well. But the really good thing about it is it allows you to quickly sell a new product. So for example, if I don't have a list and I launch a new product, I'm left there scratching my head thinking, right, what do I do with this then? Okay, I've got a great product. Who's going to buy it? There's no one there. I've got to go out and recruit affiliates and joint venture partners and this and that and the other, you know, and try and sell the product. But if I've got a list, all I do is I send bang a message out, orders come flooding in. But what also happens, of course, is I send that message out, orders come flooding in, and of course many of those will sign up as affiliates, because of course I'm going to tell them all about the affiliate program, and they are then going to sign up and sell it for me. So you get that sort of momentum. But it doesn't just account for new products. If there's any CPA offers that are relevant or affiliate programs, you can send those out. It means that you can react really quickly. So if there's a new product launch, you don't have to go through this whole rigmarole of getting your site to the top of the search engines. You just send an email out to your list, a couple more to remind them, enjoy the sales coming in. Same with CPA offers. Though one thing with CPA offers, if you're going to send out emails, some of the CPA companies will give you what they call suppression lists, and those are lists of emails that they do not want the offer sent to, and you have to run that against your list. It is hassle and can be really difficult to do with some autoresponders before you send out the email, so just be aware of that. But it's a really, really great way to earn, because you know, bang, the message goes out, in comes the money. It's absolutely riveting. I'm telling you now, when you've got your first list, I mean, this happened to me when I spoke to this guy at this seminar, and he told me this, and I was like, my eyes just went wide as saucers. I thought, I've got to do this. You know, I started building this. I spent about 3 weeks tapping away, putting autoresponder sign up forms on my pages, offering gifts for people to sign up and so on. By the end of about 3 weeks, I had 208 subscribers, and I just finished a new product, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to send a message out to my list. And this was I'd sent them a few messages to build a bit of a relationship, and I thought, yeah, they know what I'm about. I'm going to send them another message. So what I did is I sat down and I wrote a message about this new product. I didn't tell them everything about it. I hadn't even got a sales page for it. I literally just said, right, I've got a hot new product. This is what it's all about. Told them all about it. I said, look, I haven't got a sales page up for it yet, but I sent it on the Friday, and what I said is on the Monday I'll have the sales page up, and it's going to be $50. But just over this weekend, just before while I'm getting the sales page up, because you're one of my subscribers, tell you what, I'll let you have it for 20. And I sort of sent it out and then thought, oh no, you know, I'm going to get loads of unsubscribes, and you know, the usual worry. It was my first real sales message to my list, and I logged in the next morning. I found I made 3 sales. I thought, you know, I just made $60 from an email, and that was like, you know, absolutely revolutionary to me there. You know, $60 or something I earned by selling products or AdSense at that time. So I was like, hang on, this is really good. So I left the offer there. Sunday night I sent another message saying, look, just so you're all aware, this price is going up tomorrow and this offer's been removed, so if you want it, act now. And I woke up Monday morning, I set to work putting the sales page up, checked my PayPal account, I'd had another 3 orders in. So, you know, one email had earned me, what was that, $120. Yeah, it was like, wow. But you got to remember, I only had a list of 200 people. And it was like, hang on, if 200 people earn me $120, if I had a list of 2,000 people, that would have earned me $1,200. If I had 20,000, that might have been $12,000. And, you know, it was just like, wow. You know, it completely blew my mind when I sat and thought about it. So what I did then is I've gone off and I've built lists in every niche. Every single web page of mine has a way into my autoresponders, and I sell to my list. And it's absolutely fantastic. It will change your life. I guarantee it. When you first send that email out to your list and you get that first sale back, no matter how small it is, it's just gonna, yeah, you're gonna get the bug, and it's really gonna change your life. So why would you have a niche? Well, what you need to do is every niche you work in, you're gonna have a separate list. So yeah, if I'm in the stop smoking niche, I'd have a list for that. If I'm in the gardening niche, I'd have a list for whatever sub niches I'm in. So one for rose keeping, one for organic gardening, one for bonsai trees. I might have a list for parrot keeping, a list for potty training children, one for teaching dog tricks. All of these are separate lists. Now, the only niche where I don't always have a separate list is internet marketing. Internet marketing, people tend to be interested in a lot of different things. So I wouldn't just have my list building niche, my traffic generation niche, my AdSense and AdWords niches. I may separate them out like that, but what I'd probably do is send them all the same sort of generic newsletter every week, or for example. But I then send each niche specific products. So that's something you could do as well. It depends on how you want to run it. But you've got to make sure you only market relevant information to the niche. Now, if I've got my parrot training people, you know, I might know a bit about them, know that, well, in general, 80% of people who own parrots are over the age of 50, then I could safely say, well, I could send them offers that are related to people or of interest to people over 50. But if I'm in a niche like quit smoking, for example, where it could be anyone from the age of 18 to 80, I can't do that. So I've got to make sure I market relevant information. I don't want to be sending my quit smoking people offers saying, hey, look, I've got this great new product that will teach you how to make your dog do tricks, because most of them are going to turn around and go, huh? So you've got to be aware of that. You've got to make sure you only market relevant information. But one of the great things about the list is you can test products and test the market response from a list. So, like with the product I told you I sold on the previous slide to my list, the first one I ever sold, it was a good test, and it was a test to see how well it would sell, and I thought, this is good. So I launched the product, signed people up from my list as affiliates, and it went on to make some really good money for me. But you can have a really good test of, is something that's going to sell, what price points is it going to sell at, from marketing to your list. Now, if you have a good relationship with your list, which we'll talk about later on, you can do things like get testimonials for your product. So, of course, this was a new product I'd launched. 3 or 4 days later, I contacted the half dozen buyers and said, look, what did you think of the product? Is there anything else you'd like to see in it? And would you mind providing a testimonial? 4 of them gave me a testimonial. So I instantly had testimonials for my product that I could put on my webpage and help make sales. You can also get feedback and market information. You can survey them and say, look, in this niche, what's your most important, your biggest problem, what's the one question that you have, and they'll give you feedback. You can ask them to vote on product names, domain names, whatever it might be, but you can get some great feedback from them. But a list is an absolutely vital part of marketing, which so many people completely ignore. Many marketers don't see the value in building a list because they're too busy trying to build products, thinking that the real money is to be earned from a product. Well, it's not. It's to be earned from a list. And that's why you cannot ignore list building, and your business needs to be focused very much around building a list. When it comes to choosing an autoresponder, you need to understand your requirements. You need to know what it is that you want from an autoresponder and what the autoresponders offer you. But it's important that you sit and spend a little bit of time thinking about what it is that you want. What are your needs? We're going to talk about that a little in this video. You need to understand your budget as well. Can you afford to pay monthly? Can you afford to just buy something one-off? Or do you need to have a real tight budget and have to go for something that's free or very inexpensive? Your budget will determine which autoresponder you can go for. Do you want the hassle of hosting it yourself? Do you want to install the script, configure it, set it up, update it, maintain security and so on? Or do you want to buy a hosted service and have someone else take care of all that for you? How many lists do you want? Some autoresponders limit the number of lists you can have and how many messages you can send. So you need to understand that. You need to make sure that whichever autoresponder you choose is one that you can grow into. If you can only have 10 lists and you think, oh, that's plenty, and you hit 10, then you've got a problem. So, ideally you want one, and most of them do, that will allow you to host unlimited lists. What you need to do is look at the different services, look at the features of them, compare them to what you want, and then decide which autoresponder to go for from that. Now, Aweber is probably one of the most popular, though GetResponse and Wizard Autoresponder are also very popular. GetResponse is well established. Wizard Autoresponder is relatively new to the scene, but is receiving some very good reviews and is very popular with its customers. There are many others such as Infusionsoft, iContact and Constant Contact. These are more business orientated and high end. They offer in-depth reporting, segmentation of lists and so on and so forth. It's where Aweber feels that it is heading. Aweber recently changed its pricing structure and added a lot of new features, which is trying to put itself on a par with these services. So you've got to consider that as well. Do you want that level of segmentation and reporting, or do you just want to be able to send messages out to lists? Now, hosting versus hosted. Now, typically, if you're hosting your own, you pay a one-off fee. You buy a script for $100, $200, $500, whatever it might be. Hosted tends to be continual payment, so you're renting it if you're hosting it, if you're hosted using a hosted service. So you tend to pay a certain amount per month. Now, some of the autoresponders, this amount varies according to how many people you have on your list, which of course puts the burden on you to actually market to your list. If you're hosting your own, it means you have to install the software, configure it, and keep the script updated. You have to worry about security and patches and so on and so forth, which, if you're not technically skilled, could be quite difficult for you to do. It also could be a hassle. You might have to pay someone to do it. It constantly means that you've got updates to do, so it's a lot of work to do, and that does put a lot of people off hosting their own. It's simply the work involved, particularly with applying patches. And some of the autoresponders that you buy say, well, you can have this version, then they release a new version 6 months later and say, yeah, well, if you want to upgrade, it's another $100. So they get you like that. So it can be an issue, but then if you don't need the upgraded features, you don't need to upgrade, do you? Now, a hosted service will usually provide a better delivery rate, simply because companies like Aweber and GetResponse work with the big email giants like Gmail, Hotmail, AOL, Yahoo and so forth, and have very, very strict rules about what can be sent out and how it's sent out and so on, which means that, you know, they don't have a problem. The hosted companies have people working to make sure that the domains aren't spoofed and so on and so forth. If you're hosting your own, I mean, I used to host my own autoresponder, and I just got flooded with junk messages. People obviously realised, spammers obviously realised, and what I found is I was getting, you know, there was messages being sent out from my domain name, from all over the place. And my domain name, before I knew it, had become blacklisted by a lot of companies, and was, you know, messages were just going into the junk folder. So it's a really, really serious problem. So you do have to consider that, and, you know, bear in mind that the hosted service will spend much more time ensuring that their service is spam free. And basically, the higher the delivery rate, the higher the open rate, the higher your earnings. If your messages aren't getting through and they're getting lost in the junk or spam folders, that's bad news. That's your earnings going down the pan. Hosting your own, you do run the risk of having your domain blacklisted. I imagine there's some ways around it. I mean, I'm pretty technically competent. I know what I'm doing. I know my way around the server and the script. But I couldn't, even with my web host's help, I was struggling to stop the spoofing of my domain name. There's very little I could do. So as I said, my domain was very soon blacklisted, and in the end I let the domain expire because it was useless to me, because it was so damaged by the spammers. But hosting your own, if you're careful, yeah, it's not bad. A lot of people still host their own autoresponders. A lot of very big names do, simply because they have control over their list. And that's the thing. If you host your own, you physically own your list. It's yours. It's in, you know, on your server. You know where it is. Whereas if I have an Aweber account, well, where's my list? It's on an Aweber server. Can I get to it? Yeah, I might be able to export a copy, but I don't really own it. So this is why a lot of people prefer to host their own. They've got complete control. They can do what they want. They're not, you know, beholden to the autoresponder company and having to do exactly what they want. And obviously that suits some people who perhaps want to enter a slightly grey shade in their emailing. Particularly if, you know, for example, you may want to run single opt-in because you get more people on your list because you don't have the issues with double opt-in messages not being clicked on or delivered. But your autoresponder service won't allow you, so you may end up hosting your own, so you can do that. But again, it's up to you which way you go. What you're looking out for, whichever autoresponder you choose, is a high rate of deliverability. If your messages aren't getting through, you're not going to be earning. Your messages have to be delivered, and they have to get through to the inbox, not the spam or junk mail folder. I mean, let's be honest. Hands up anyone who sits and spends time reading every single message in the spam folder. No, I don't see many hands. Very few people do. If it's not getting through to the inbox, you're not earning. You need to make sure that whichever autoresponder you choose complies with the anti-spam regulations. This is very, very important. It could damage your business incredibly. Not to mention the fact that, you know, if you do get caught spamming, and you know you actually are, you could face prosecution and even jail and basically an unlimited fine. Yeah, it's not pleasant. So you've got to make sure that they comply with the anti-spam laws and are aware of them, because that way you are going to be safe. You want a reliable and established service. You don't want to rush out and go for, you know, whatever it might be, any old company. You want to make sure that whatever service you're using is reliable. An autoresponder is usually for life, to be perfectly honest. Once you have one, it's a nightmare to move your autoresponder. If you know, most autoresponder hosted services, for example, will insist that your leads opt back into your mailing list when they import it. They have to protect themselves against spam laws and people who harvest email addresses. But what it means is it means that you lose an awful lot of subscribers. Yeah, I've known people with, you know, 20,000 on their list, and they've moved and they've lost loads of people. I mean, I was hosting my own script for some time, and as I said to you, my domain name ended up getting blacklisted and completely ruined by spammers. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to move to my a hosted service. I want that reliability. I want that deliverability. So I did, and my list, I had almost 10,000 people on my list at the time. I thought, right, I'm going to get them all. I'll message them 2 or 3 times. I'll get them to subscribe to my new list so that I can market to them from my hosted service. And out of 10,000 people, only about 150 reconfirmed their email address. So effectively, by moving, I lost almost 10,000 subscribers. Took me a year and a half to build that many up. So you've got to be careful. You know, you don't want to be shifting around autoresponders every few days, every year or so, because you're going to end up losing a lot of subscribers. You need to understand who owns the list and whether you can export it if it's a hosted service. Exporting the list means that if the worst happens, you can then load it onto your own service and you still have your list and you can still mail to them. A lot of marketers will do that. They'll take their lists and they have their own autoresponder and they put it on their own autoresponder as well, so that they've got them safe in case there's a problem. That's something to consider. You've got to look out for whether it will offer double opt-in or single opt-in. Again, depends on what you want to do with your business. Do you want to go for double opt-in? Do you want to just stick with single opt-in? Double opt-in gives you the protection against the anti-spam laws. Single opt-in gives you an awful lot more subscribers. You want something that's easy to use. You don't want a script that you look at and it confuses you and it's counterintuitive. It's got to be something that's very, very easy for you to use. And something that's easy for people to unsubscribe from. You want something that allows you to put that, like a signature at the bottom, so you can put your contact details in compliance with the spam laws and so on. And you also want a company that's contactable. If there's a problem, you need to be able to get hold of them. You know, it's no good them taking 3 weeks to answer a message if, you know, your list isn't working. That's a huge problem. That could really damage your income. So make sure that they have good contactability and good response rates. And that's really what you're looking for in a list. Now, an autoresponder is a big choice, and you do need to make sure you get it right pretty much the first time. If you move autoresponders, you do run the risk of losing a lot of subscribers. So, think about what you need. Think about your budget. Look at some of the sites we mentioned here and decide which one will work for you. And then, once you're really sure, subscribe to it and start building your lists and start earning from them. This is Aweber.com. Aweber is one of the most popular autoresponders out there. You can see here that they were founded in 1998 and there's over 61,000 customers. They're a big company. Now, Aweber used to be the one of choice for internet marketers. For many people it still is. They have a very, very high level of deliverability, very reliable. What Aweber did some months ago is decided that they were going to aim themselves more at the corporate market, the big end market like Constant Contact, Infusionsoft and iContact. And so they changed their pricing structure, which has put a lot of marketers off of them. Particularly new marketers. Now, I'll show you the pricing structure in a minute. What they do is they give you a $1 trial, so you can give it a try for a month for $1. Now, if we scroll down, you can see some of the other features that they offer. Yeah, they give you sign-up forms, analytics, very high deliverability, and follow-up autoresponders. You have as many autoresponders as you want. And you can see here that people are joining. I mean, I don't know quite what these two are doing at this time of day, because it's about 2 o'clock in the morning in Florida. It's about, what, 1 o'clock there and about midnight in California. So obviously these people don't sleep. But you can see that, you know, they offer you some good services. Now, Aweber are known for reliability and deliverability. And you can see here, this little bit of text here, they have worked well with ISPs, internet service providers, to make sure that their messages get through. They are trusted by them that the messages that they send are good quality. Now, we just want to go and have a look at the pricing very quickly. So here we have the pricing. The basic level is $19 a month, but you can see it goes up. Once you're over 500 subscribers, it's $29. 2,500, it's $49, and so on. Now what this means is, it means the onus is on you to start earning from your list. You can't sit back on your laurels like people used to and just build a list and never market them. You've got to earn from them. The old pricing structure was, it was $19 up until 10,000 subscribers, and over that it was negotiable. But you know, you should be making money from your list. If you're not making $19 a month from your list of 500 subscribers, you're doing something wrong. You need to be mailing them and sending them good quality products. So, you know, this is the pricing structure here. It doesn't, you know, it may sound a lot, but when you think about it, 500 subscribers, you should be making round about $500 a month off of them. So, you know, the monthly fee is more than covered. The nice thing with Aweber is it does some really, really good tracking and targeting. They've introduced some fantastic new features that allow you to really understand what your subscribers are doing, to break up who you're sending messages to. You can send messages to people that read the last one, messages to people that didn't read the last one, and so much more. There's some really, really good features within Aweber. So a lot of testimonials, and I know that a lot of people use it. Now there are some private label versions that haven't moved to this new pricing structure yet. Somewhere like Mike Filsami's ProSender and John Delavero's Turbo Autoresponders. They are private label versions of Aweber. I believe that when Aweber was starting up, they needed a cash influx, so they sold the private label version to some marketers. But there's very few people that have it. I think they only sold about half a dozen. So this is Aweber. It has been, and probably still is, the autoresponder of choice for many, many people. However, there are some other options. We're going to show you some of the other ones now. This is getresponse.com. This is another popular one that's been around for some time. It's very, very, again, very popular. Similar in what it does to Aweber. One thing it allows you to do is you can do surveys to your list, and you can also send out video emails to them. So it's quite good. Those are features that Aweber haven't added. So this is GetResponse trying to differentiate themselves from Aweber and add features that you may or may not use. The surveys certainly you would use. The video marketing, I'm not so sure. But it does provide you with some good services. Again, they give you some really good deliverability, very good tracking, very good analytics, some really, really good features to help you increase your revenue and automate your marketing. So let's have a quick look at their pricing too. Okay, now you can see here, if you've got a tiny list, so this is basically free trial, then it's free. But you can see the pricing here, it's slightly less than Aweber. So it's basically they're trying to pull people away from Aweber to them by having the lower prices. But they have adopted the same pricing structure as Aweber. So pretty much they're both kind of the same. You get a couple of other options down here. You get for free the online survey, and for $10 a month you can send high impact bulletins and newsletters. Now my issue with this is HTML emails. Most people don't read them. Most browsers and most software doesn't support them. I personally never use HTML emails because I know the open rate's dreadful. I get HTML emails from people all the time that are obviously really proud of how their email looks, but of course for security purposes I don't let my mail client download images because I don't want any old rubbish being downloaded. So of course they look terrible to me. But you can see here the pricing is pretty much the same. There's no sending limit and unlimited lists as long as you don't go over that number of subscribers. But you can see GetResponse isn't a bad site. Again, a lot of marketers use GetResponse and have some very good things to say about it. Which one you choose is actually entirely up to you. I'm going to show you another couple in a moment. But it's up to you. Just look at the features, go through some of the features here, and use that to help you decide what it is you want to use. You can take a tour here, and you can read the FAQs here to get some more information about exactly what it is they're doing. And you can see there's an account comparison here. Let's just have a quick look at this. You can see here some of the features, integration to Twitter, as an iPhone application, online surveys, industry templates, split testing, and unlimited follow-up messages. So they give you quite a few decent features. Some of these are on Aweber, some aren't. But it depends on really what it is you want. Do you want some of the features here? Is there a feature here that makes you go, oh, I've got to have that? Or is there not? Now let me show you another autoresponder now. This is a fairly newcomer to the block. So let's go onto their webpage now. Now, Wizard Responder, or wizardautoresponder.com, is a new system that's actually getting a lot of interest. You can see here Martin Avis, a well-known marketer, has put a testimonial on here. It's very, very popular, this one. Because they've got quite a low price at the moment, they're currently $9 a month. They're really taking off and getting a lot of interest from people. They provide a good level of deliverability and pretty much all the information you need. Let's face it, the basic from an autoresponder is you want the message to go out and get through. You know, you may not want all this fancy tracking and customization and split testing and video marketing and everything else. You may just want to send messages, in which case this tool will do you just fine. Let's scroll down to the bottom and just have a look at some of the features and other information here. Now here's the feature list, and you can see pretty much it offers everything you want to need. It's the basic autoresponder, but you can have up to 10,000 subscribers for $9 a month. How appealing is that? Now you can personalize your emails. You've got an RSS syndicator, so you can keep in contact with your subscribers via RSS. RSS is taking off. You can build in tracking links, ban subscribers, and so on and so forth. So there's an awful lot of features here for you. So if you go through and look at this, you may find, well, that's actually all you need. You don't need the fancy tracking that Aweber spends. So, you know, it could be worthwhile. And I think one of the real benefits of this is that it takes PayPal. Aweber doesn't take PayPal, and that puts a lot of people off. But Wizard Responder does. So the fact that it does take PayPal, I think, is a big selling point for it. So these are three of the big autoresponders that you can use. Now, which one you go to is entirely up to you. It depends upon your budget, depends upon the features that you need. I won't recommend any one of them, but I can say that they're all equally good and that they will all do exactly the job you want them to. Which one you choose is up to you, but you've got to choose the one that fits your budget and has the features you want. If you don't want all the tracking and split testing and rubbish that Aweber gives you, go for Wizard Responder. If you don't feel you could live without all that extra functionality, go for Aweber. If you want the video functionality and some of the other gimmicks that were on GetResponse, go for GetResponse. But you have to make that decision. But when you make the decision, remember, an autoresponder is for life, pretty much. Trying to move your list from autoresponder to autoresponder is a nightmare and will result in a massive unsubscribe rate. You're going to lose a lot of subscribers. So when you find one and you decide to stick with it, stick with it. Don't go hopping from autoresponder to autoresponder, because all your work building a list is going to be for nothing and you're going to start losing people. So those are some of the autoresponders that you can choose. These are all hosted solutions, and that's really good because it means you don't have to worry about installing scripts, configuring scripts, or any of that sort of thing. All you do is you just use the software and somebody else worries about all that. So pick one of those or pick another one. It's entirely up to you which one you go for. We're going to start now talking about building a list. The next few videos are all about different ways of building a list. In this video, we're going to talk about building a list from your website or websites. Now, every website and web page you own needs to be focused on building a list. Every web page has to have an entry point into one of your autoresponder sequences. You want people to be able to subscribe from anywhere within your empire of sites. You want it really easy, simple form, tells them why, tell them what they're going to get them to sign up. The more people you can get to your list, the better. You basically have a sign up form on every page in the form of a pop-up, a hover ad, or just plain autoresponder sign up form. But it takes a lot of effort to get people to your website, so you don't want them to come to your website and they go and disappear. You want them to come there, sign up, and then you can market to them at your leisure. Now, every niche market needs to have a different autoresponder list. We talked about this briefly earlier on, but your parrot keeping list will be different to your dog training list, to your Microsoft consultants list, to your plumbers list, and whatever. You have different lists for each niche market. This allows you to separate out your list by interest so that you can market specific products to the lists. Now, you may find that some products will appeal to multiple lists, in which case you have two choices. You can send the same message to each of the lists, or you can write a custom message for each list focusing on their specific needs and wants and why the product suits them. And that is a technique that will work best and have the highest conversion rate. Now, if you have broad niches, then you can have generic lists. So, for example, I might have in internet marketing, I've got my list of list builders, traffic generation, WordPress people, my list of, what other lists have I got in internet marketing? Let me think. I've got another list on people who are interested in AdSense, a list on pay-per-click, a list on cost per action. So all of those are different lists. But because they're in internet marketing, they all have pretty much the same interests. So I can send a broadcast, for example, on an affiliate product related to internet marketing to all of them. Now, if there's something specific to say pay-per-click, I'd send it just to that list because the others may not be interested. But if it's, you know, Mike Filsami's latest product, or whoever, you know, some big name has released a new product, I'd send it to all of them because they've all got a general interest in it. And what I'd want to be able to do with my autoresponder ideally is to make sure that if somebody's signed up to more than one of those lists, they only get one email. That's actually quite a good feature of an autoresponder if you can find it. But as I said, each sub-niche has its own list. So you may have a generic, in health, for example, you may have the fitness freaks, you may have the dieters, you may have the people who want to stop smoking, you know, the vegetarians, you may have the vitamin munchers, you know, whatever it might be. But they're all in the generic health niche. So you may not be able to get them all onto one list, and you probably don't want them to be all on one list. But if there's something generic to do with health, you send it out to all of them on every single sub-niche. One thing that works very well, now I did this years ago, I first tried it out, and I found that I'd gone from getting one opt-in every 3 or 4 days to 3 or 4 opt-ins every day, is you offer a bribe for people to sign up to your list, offer them a gift. It could be a book or whatever it might be. But nowadays, you know, in IM, internet marketing worse than other niches, people don't want to give their email address away because they know that what's going to happen is they're going to get bombarded with junk emails and messages, and before they know it, their inbox is going to be full up. You know, they're going to get thousands of messages a day, and most of them are going to be completely irrelevant and rubbish. So by offering a bribe, you help overcome that resistance. Maybe I should call it a gift. You offer them a free gift for signing up. You overcome that resistance that they have to giving you their email address because they think, well, there's something in it for me. And because your gift is really good, they're then going to say subscribe to your list because they think, this guy's obviously got something to say. I want to listen. Now, what can you offer them? A free report, a video, or something similar? Something that works very, very well is, if you're selling a product, is to offer a couple of free videos, a couple of sample chapters, or something like that. Something to give them a taste of the product so that they can go, this is good. So that's what you want to think about. But offer them something that's valuable, and that's the key. Don't find a resale rights product or a master resale rights product to give them. You don't want that. It's got to be something value, and it has to be yours, something you've written. You've got to make sure, though, that you don't give away the farm. For example, if you're selling an ebook, for example, and you say, right, I'm going to give away the first 3 chapters, but chapter 3 is where the real meaty information is. You don't want to give them that. You want to give them away enough to prove that the product's good and that you're an expert on the niche, but not enough that they then go, well, I don't need the product. You've got to give away just enough to make them go, I can't live without this product, I've got to buy it. Now, the reason the product has to be your own is you use it to sell your own product or affiliate products. So basically, the giveaway is promoting your product, or if you haven't got a product to sell and you're just giving away something to build a list, it's promoting affiliate products. That's it, plain and simple. And that way you'll learn, because what will happen is they'll read the book, and not everybody, but majority of people will be intrigued by what's in there, realise you're an expert, and come and buy something. So it works really, really well. If it's a well-written report with some really good information in, people will buy. One thing to try, and again, I've tried this and had a very, very good response rate with it, is pop-up windows. Put pop-up windows and hover ads on your web page, and you'll find that you get a good result. You've obviously got to play around with them a little, but you will get a good result. They can often provide you with a lot of subscribers because they're fairly obtrusive, shall we say. So whereas your opt-in box on the right hand side they may ignore because they're reading the text, the box is right in front of their face and they've got to click a button to get rid of it. And when they're going to click on the button, they quite often see the free gift and go, that looks good, and click on it. What you need to do is experiment with different text in these boxes, experiment with different pop-up times. Do you want the box to appear as soon as somebody gets to the website? Do you want it to appear when they leave? Do you want it to wait 5 seconds or 10 seconds? Whatever. But you've got to experiment with it. What gifts can you give away? Try different things to find out which works best. Now, sadly, that's not necessarily going to be the same across all niches, but it gives you a starting point from which to work in every niche that you enter. Now, if you're selling a product, and this is really, really important, you need two lists. You need a pre-sales list and a post-sales list. Very important to separate the two out, because let's think about it. Your pre-sales list, what you're doing, you're selling your product. Your post-sales list, they've bought your product. They don't want to be sold your product again. They've already got it. I must admit, I made a little mistake on one of my lists a while ago. I had forgotten to put the automation on so that when somebody's bought the product, they were removed from the pre-sales. And the guy bought the product. Actually, this is quite funny. The guy bought the product, and he'd written me an email about a day afterwards saying how much he loved it and he thought it was fantastic. And then a week and a half later, he got to a message, I think about 3, of the pre-sale sequence. And he actually bought the product again because he thought, wow, this product sounds great, and had forgotten that he'd bought it a week and a half before. And I monitor my sales. I know exactly who buys what on all my sites. And I noticed that he had quite an unusual name, which is why it really stood out. And I thought, I'm sure I recognise that name. I'm sure he bought something the other week. I went and checked and found out he'd bought the same product. And when I contacted him and gave him a refund, obviously, and said to him that I'm really sorry, I've messed up my automation. You were on the wrong list. I gave him a little something as an apology. And he said to me, oh right, well I was getting these emails and it was selling me this product and I thought it was fantastic, so I bought it. And he hadn't realised he'd already bought it. So you get a lot of confusion. But the thing is, if they're a little bit smarter and they realise that they've bought the product, they're going to get a bit annoyed that you're trying to sell them the product they bought. They're going to read it and think, what's going on? I've got this product. Why are you trying to sell it to me? And you're going to get a high unsubscribe rate. So make sure that any autoresponder you choose allows this level of automation. It's going to make your life very, very easy. Now, your pre-sales list holds prospective customers. These are people that come to your website. They've gone, I'm interested, but I don't want to buy just yet. I want a little bit more information first. I need to make up my mind and make my buying decision. So it holds the prospective customers, and what it does is it sells them on your product. Now, it will sell them for anything from 7 to 10 to 20 messages. It will sell the product. After that, it's, well, they're not going to buy it. So what you do is you sell them other products, affiliate products, and so on and so forth. Your post-sales holds actual customers. These are the people that have bought, they spent money with you. They're qualified buyers, and you know that A, they have money, and B, they're going to spend it. So what can you do with them? You sell them other affiliate products and back-end products. But it's vital that you remove the buyers from the pre-sales list. it's going to confuse the hell out of them. It really, really is. But what this allows you to do is maximize your profit by targeting messages to the right audience. You're not trying to sell a product to people who have already bought it. You're trying to sell a product to people who have registered an interest in it but haven't yet bought it. To the people that have bought it, you sell them other similar products or related products of a similar or higher value. You sell them your back-end products, a video course, your personal training, your membership, whatever it might be. Now, you can also sell these to the pre-sales list as well, but whilst you're doing that, you're not selling the original product. So you need to make sure that you have very defined about where messages are going, and make sure that your post-sales people, your customers, you're not trying to sell them the same product again. It will cause you problems if you do. But that's how you build a website, build a list from your websites. Make sure that every web page you own has an entry point into your autoresponder sequences. Keep your niches separate, but feel free to send messages out to a number of lists that are relevant to them. Maybe rewrite them specifically for each list. Remember, if you have a product, separate out the two lists, so you've got your prospective customers and your actual customers. And with the information here, with this knowledge, you could make a lot of money from your list. It's going to really help you with your list building career, help you earn money from them, and help you get a big list very quickly. Co-registration is a wonderful way of building a list. It's a very simple concept. Basically, your sign-up form appears on someone else's thank you page, and theirs appears on yours. Now, you either do this manually and you do a manual swap, or what you do is you use a service. If you're using a service, basically you get a credit or so many credits for every time you show somebody else's sign-up forms. These credits are then applied to your account so that your sign-up form is shown on other people's thank you pages. And this brings you quite a good number of subscribers. You can get a lot of people from one of these. It's a very, very effective way of getting yourself some targeted subscribers. The good thing about it is they tend to be quite responsive. They've opted in for information from someone else's list. They're interested in the niche. They've registered an interest, and they've obviously really keen on signing up for your list. So it works very, very well, and I really, really recommend it. Now, the best way of doing this is co-registration services, but you may find that you don't get a lot of subscribers. Maybe your niche is a bit too obscure, in which case you need to contact people in your niche directly and say to them, hey, look, I notice you haven't got anything on your thank you page. Tell you what, why don't we swap autoresponder sign-up forms, and we put a message on each other's thank you page saying, hey, thank you for subscribing. I know you've said you're interested in information from me on this list, but I'd like to recommend this other newsletter as well. I believe it'll be something of interest to you. And do that, because you know what's going to happen with that? You're going to get a lot of subscribers. It really does work very, very well. Now, some of the auto services are better than others, but we're going to talk about a few of them now. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is Advertising Know-How. I think it's a very good site. It has a really good feature in that you can buy credits to get your newsletter appearing on other people's pages. So you don't have to sit there and try and get people to see your thank you page. What you can do is you can just buy a load of credits and off it goes. Yeah, it's going to cost you a bit of money. I can't remember how much it is, but you're basically getting a whole load of exposure pretty much for very little, and potentially you can build a good list from it. So I strongly recommend there. List Builder Pro is yet another, and there's Nitro List Builder and List Crew, which is a relatively newcomer. It's only been released recently. List Crew currently focuses on internet marketing only, and is going to introduce some other niches in the future. Now, what's interesting about these services is that not all of them are compatible with all autoresponders. Aweber, for example, will not allow co-registration, but has allowed Advertising Know-How because they are satisfied that it meets their strict policy on double opt-in and genuine leads. I don't know about List Builder Pro or Nitro List Builder. I know last time I looked at ListCrew didn't allow Aweber, but did allow many of the others. So you do need to be aware of this, and make sure that whichever co-registration service you choose is compatible with your autoresponder. Now there are a number of them out there. Just go and type co-registration list building and you'll find loads of them in Google. Advertising know-how is free to sign up for, and you can start getting people from there straight away. I believe ListCrew is free as well. So yeah, it's worth having a look at these and possibly using them. You know, it's very, very good service. I mean, co-registration isn't necessary to build a list. You may get enough people from your websites, depends on your traffic levels. But if you want to build a list quick and you're in a bit of a hurry, then co-registration is actually quite a good way of doing it. You're going to find that you can get a lot of people on your list pretty darn quickly from it. And as I said, they tend to be targeted and quite responsive. You need to spend a little bit of time warming yourself up to them, but if you do that, then you are going to succeed with your list and you're going to do quite well, to be perfectly truthful. So that's co-registration. Well worth checking out. Look at some of these sites, make sure they're compatible with your autoresponder, and start using them to build your list. Giveaways are another great place to get subscribers. The quality of the subscribers are a matter of a bit of debate at the moment. Some people say they're good, some people say they're not so good. It really depends, I think, on how you approach them, and we're going to talk about that in this video. Now, many marketers run giveaways. Some of the book launches also allow you to participate in a giveaway as the book launches. There's been quite a few of these recently, and they're a good way to get people onto your list. Now, a giveaway typically will run any time, a holiday, summer, you know, Christmas, Halloween, whatever it might be. But the basic premise is lots of people get together, they put up a product for free in order to get the email address of someone. Most of them, once they have somebody subscribed, will show them a one-time offer in an attempt to sell them something. So you've got to consider that. Now, what you need to be aware of is that giveaways can get you a lot of traffic, but you're going to have to provide something unique and valuable to the giveaway. Wasn't too long ago that if you went to any giveaway, you'd see half a dozen copies of the same product being given away by different people. Now, it's got to be something unique, something valuable, and ideally you want it to be something of yours. You don't want to use resale rights or master resale rights. If you're using PLR, you want to have rebranded it. Why? Well, you want to make sure that it's got your links in it, it's promoting your websites and your services and so on. And that way, you're much, much more likely to make money from it. Plus, with most giveaways now, you do have to send some traffic to them. If you don't send traffic or get the right number of subscribers, or whatever it might be, you find your gift being demoted and displayed towards the end, or worse still, you find your gift being removed. It depends on the giveaway as to what the rules are, but you do need to send some traffic. But don't worry, because this can be difficult if you don't have a list. But if you don't have a list, don't worry, because what you do is the figures aren't normally too astronomical. They're normally sort of 5 or maybe 10, so it's not a lot of people. So all you do is you get your friends and family to sign up for it, or worse still, you create yourself half a dozen email addresses and sign up from different computers, you know, something like that. You know, there are ways around it, and I know people that have used them in order to get into a giveaway to start building the list. They're a great place for you to get involved in, but the real value to you is to create a one-time offer, because not only do they sign up, but there's a chance to sell to them as well, and you do get quite a lot of people buying, providing you're providing something of value. It needs to be something that not everyone else is selling, something that's unique to you, and something that, you know, they're not going to say, oh god, it's that bunch of resale rights stuff again. I see that all the time. If it's stuff that's genuinely valuable in the one-time offer, you'll get a high conversion rate, but you can get subscribers from it still. Now, how do you find out about giveaways? Well, just keep your ear to the ground. If you're on, you know, any internet marketing mailing list, which I'm sure you are, you will find out about them. you'll get messages saying, hey, come and join this giveaway, quick, sign up under me, and you'll probably get dozens of them for each giveaway. Giveaways will happen, as I said, any time of the year. They're most popular when there's an excuse to run the giveaway. So, a holiday season, Easter, Halloween, Christmas, summer, whatever it might be. As long as there's an excuse, they can run a giveaway, basically. But once you have a subscriber, you're going to have to warm them up. Now, the quality of subscribers, it's hard to say. Some people say they're good, some say they're not. I know there's a lot of people that will go into a giveaway, get a product they want, download it, and then instantly unsubscribe. Now, there's a way around that. Is what you do is you give them one gift straight up, and then you say, over the next few weeks, I'm going to provide you with more information to build on this, and you give them more and more over the next few weeks to build on what you're giving them, and that way they stay a subscriber. If you don't say that, you find a lot of people will get your message, download the product, and then go, yeah, unsubscribe. I don't want to get junk mail. It's surprisingly common, so be aware of that. But you need to build a relationship with them. So you can soft sell from day one, but you need to build a relationship with gifts and information. And you pretty much, you're wooing them. You want them to understand and trust you, and know that you're someone that they can trust. They're going to be sitting there pretty much thinking, who's this marketer? When's he going to start selling to me? I don't know who he is. I don't know anything about him. So build a relationship with them. Use gifts, information, personal stories, things like that. Use that to sort of draw them to you so that they eventually think, oh, he's my good friend, that sort of thing. As I said, you may find you get a high number of unsubscribes. You get a lot of people that will unsubscribe very early on. You may find a lot of people use a Yahoo account or something that they never really check. They literally just use that account for signing up to something like giveaways. That does happen. But you are going to find some valuable subscribers. Many of them are freebie seekers, and I've known marketers say how difficult it is to market to giveaways. I personally haven't got very involved in giveaways myself, but many of them literally come to the giveaway because they want the freebie. But you will find that there are some people of value on that list. Now, I'm not saying avoid giveaways. I'm not saying that they're terrible. I'm saying that you need to use them carefully and wisely in order to maximize your profit from them. Be aware that you're going to get quite a few unsubscribes. Be aware that many of them will be freebie seekers, and it's going to take time to warm them up. Basically, what you want to do, as you've warmed them up and they become customers, you want to shift them onto another list so that the giveaway list isn't cluttered with valuable subscribers that actually buy stuff. You will find it's going to be tricky to sell to them, because you've got to remember they may well have signed up for a couple of dozen or maybe more freebies, so they're suddenly getting a lot of emails. So that's why you need to build that relationship, tell them they're going to get gifts over the next few weeks, build a relationship with them, teach them, and so on, and you'll do well from a giveaway. But a giveaway is a good place to build a subscriber list. Yeah, you may only get a couple of hundred subscribers, but it's a couple of hundred more than you had before, and you do that half a dozen times, you're over 1,000 before you know it. So very, very good way of building yourself a list. Pay per lead is the next method we're going to talk about. In this method of list building, you pay for every single lead provided to you. Now, this may be through a company, it may be through a service, it may be in a number of different ways. One way it can be is through a CPA network. If you've ever seen any of these cost per action offers, what you find is people will offer things like sign up, enter your email address for a free sample of I don't know, L'Oreal makeup or something like that, or some shampoo. But you can do something similar with internet marketing. You can offer a free report, free gift, or something like that for people giving you their email address. Now, with a CPA network, you can expect to pay $2 to $4 per lead, depending on how many hoops you make them jump through, maybe higher. A CPA network is going to require quite a substantial sum of money, so expect for them to ask you for a couple of $1,000 up front, particularly if you've never advertised on them before. But with a CPA network, you can get an awful lot of traffic if your offer's good and converts, particularly if it's easy for people to enter their email address. It does well, you can get a lot of traffic. There are companies and services that will offer you this pay-per-lead. They tend to be a bit more expensive, particularly if they're companies, but it depends upon the niche as to exactly how much it's going to cost you. But you need to ensure that the leads are genuine, and it's not some company feeding you either fake addresses or emails that they've harvested or so on and so forth. So you do need to audit the results and be aware of what the leads are and whether they're genuine. If you find that you're getting lots of leads with funny email addresses, you need to double check them, because there may well be a problem. So make sure you keep an eye on them and check they're genuine. But also, if you're buying any leads from anywhere, check the source of them. Have they been harvested from sites or websites or forums, or are they just, you know, random collections of letters and numbers or names or something? You know, what are they? Are they genuine leads? Have they come from, you know, people who have opted in to receive information and are aware that their email address is being sold? You need to really check that, because that could have a massive impact on your business. If the leads are spam, you've wasted your money. Yeah, if they've been harvested, you've wasted your money. If they've been harvested and you email them, then potentially you've got a problem, because you've just spammed, even though you bought them, because they haven't specifically opted in to your network. Now, I would honestly say to you, if you're going to do pay-per-lead, then you want to use one of the reliable services or a CPA network. That way, you're going to be sure that you're getting it. Now, it could cost you anything from a few dollars upwards. I mean, I've seen leads for sale for sort of $20 to $50, and those are in the business-to-business and financial niche, though, so they're obviously more valuable to people. But a lead could cost you quite a lot of money, but you've got to decide whether it's worthwhile. Yeah, if you can pay $4 to acquire a lead, and you know that that lead is going to spend on average $30 whilst they're on your list, it's worthwhile. But you need to understand those sort of metrics before you can really decide how much you can afford to pay per lead. But you have to make sure the leads are from genuine sources. I know I've said this before, I'm saying it again. It is absolutely vital. If they're not, then you run the risk of buying basically junk. I mean, I had someone contact me the other day. I was selling a product, and somebody contacted me a couple of months ago now, actually, and said, look, I really want your product, but I can't afford to buy it. Tell you what, I've got this database of 6 million email addresses. I will give it to you in exchange for your product. I sort of thought, 6 million email addresses, that's a lot. I sort of inquired a bit, talked about where they came from, found out what they were just harvested from places like AOL and Hotmail and Yahoo and so on. So it was a lot of email addresses, but had I sent anything to them, it would have been pure spam. I'd have been in a lot of trouble. So you need to make sure the leads are from genuine sources, because otherwise you run the risk of getting your business shut down, of being blacklisted, and being accused of being a spammer. And worst case, by the way, of being accused of being a spammer, you end up in jail with all your assets taken away. Now, you need to make sure that they will opt into your list. Now, depending on the process, you may just get a load of email addresses that you import. Not all autoresponders will allow you to do that, and if they do, they will insist that they opt in. But you've got to make sure that they will opt into your list. Now, you may well offer them a bribe or some sort of gift in order to do so. There are a lot of disreputable sources. A lot of people that will sell you harvested and spam email addresses. An awful lot of people. If someone comes to you and starts saying, look, I'll give you 1 million email addresses for $100, you know you're in trouble. You really do. That's someone to avoid. They're selling you junk email addresses. Reputable sources will charge you a decent amount of money per lead. You're not going to get 1 million email addresses for $100 from a reputable company. Period. You do have to be very careful about it. But whatever you do, never ever buy a list of harvested email addresses. The response rate will be dreadful, the complaint rate will be massive, and you could end up losing a server or a hosting account, which is the last thing that you want to do. But when you get somebody by paper lead, just like with a giveaway and co-registration, you need to build a relationship with them. You need for them to get to know you as a person, to understand you, and for them to learn to trust you as being a valued advisor and not just somebody who wants to raid their wallet. So work with them to build a relationship. Pay-per-click is actually a good way of building a pay-per-lead is a good way of building a list, providing and only providing they are genuine emails that are going to opt into your list. If they're not, then potentially you're going to run into a problem. But consider pay-per-lead. Be aware that you may well have to come up with quite a lot of money up front, several $1,000s possibly, but it is good and it will get you a lot of people very quickly. The question is what do you send to your list? Well, you send them valuable content. They've signed up to your list because they're after information. Unless when they signed up it said in big letters, all you're going to get is sales messages. That's not what they signed up for. They wanted valuable content, so give it to them. And what you have to do is train them or condition them in what to expect from you. Now, if you never ever sell to your list and suddenly you send a sales message, I will guarantee your unsubscribe rate will go up. You'll get angry emails and people will be annoyed at you. But if you sell to them from day one, then it's going to work quite nicely. They're going to expect it, they're going to be comfortable with it, and you're going to get a better response rate. Now, outside of internet marketing, in other niches, constant sales messages do not work. I believe the only niche you can get away with it in is internet marketing. In many of the others, there's no way you can get away with it. People just hate being sold to. Think about it. If somebody sort of approached you on the street and started trying to sell you something, what would you likely do? You'd walk away. Most people don't like being sold to. So you've got to train them to be expected to see sales messages, but not sell, because that's going to put people off. As I said to you, if you never ever sell to them, when you actually do, they're going to be so shocked, they're going to unsubscribe and be annoyed, because they're used to you as being a purveyor of valuable information, not a salesperson. You have to train them to realize that you are someone who sells to them, but also provides valuable content. If you sell to them regularly, I mean, if you do a soft sell pretty much in every email, a hard sell every 3, 4, or 5 emails, you're going to find that they respond quite well to it because they're conditioned to it. And when I say soft sell, I don't mean just a subtle sales message. What I mean is you talk about a problem or a product and casually mention, well, this is a solution to it. Or you talk about something that's happened, or you mention that you found a great product, something like that. A hard sales message is an email whose sole purpose is to sell a product. So that's what I think is one of the best ways of doing it, and people respond quite well to it, particularly outside of internet marketing. Every email needs to contain a sales message of some degrees, but not always a buy this. For example, one thing I've seen very successful is people talk about a problem that they've had, and they've just managed to overcome, or something similar to that. And what they do is they just casually mention that, well, I found this product, I use this product, and it helped me overcome it. Now, if you've got a good relationship to your list, what your list will do is go, that sounds good, and go off and buy it. And of course, that means income for you. You've got to get the balance right between information, soft sells, and hard sells. It is actually a difficult one to get to, and it depends upon each niche. What you're going to have to do is set it up so that you've got 3 or 4 soft sells and information, and then a hard sell, and see what sort of results you get. You may find that that particular niche does not respond to hard sells. It may be that they only respond to the recommendations and the soft sells. I can't tell you what a niche is going to respond to. You're the one that's going to have to test it and find out. Every niche is different. Constant selling is going to put off your subscribers. In internet marketing, you can more or less get away with it because people are always after buying products, because that's what internet marketers do. However, you'll find your open rate will be very, very low, even in the internet marketing niche, because most people look at the subject line. If it doesn't interest them, then they won't open it. So you've got to be aware of that. It's constant selling, particularly in the internet marketing niche. You're going to get low open rate. Outside the internet marketing niche, you're likely to get a high unsubscribe rate. One thing that you should do is use their name within the list. When you email them, put the name in the subject line, dear or hi, first name, use their first name, and even use it a couple of times in the text if it's appropriate. Now this impresses the hell out of people, particularly outside of internet marketing. We're all involved with autoresponders and the like all the time, so we understand how they work and think, don't think anything of them. But to Joe Six-Pack on the street there, it's magic. You just sent him a personal email because it's got his name on it. He doesn't understand about automation and autoresponders. So I do remember one of my friends phoned me up and sort of said, "Oh, I've really got to thank you for that email you sent me yesterday." I sat and I thought, what email? I haven't emailed you for months. Is this a hint to make me email you because I haven't been in contact? And they started talking about the email, and what it was an email out to my autoresponder that they'd signed up for as a test some time ago, and it had their name in it, and they thought I'd personally sent them that email. And so in the end I had to say, oh right, yeah, oh, it's a pleasure, I just thought it'd be something you'd be interested in. And they genuinely thought it was an email from me, handwritten to them. People outside of internet marketing don't understand about this automation and autoresponders, so you can really impress them, and it helps to build a relationship when you use that name, because people love the sound of their own name. It's one of the best sounds to their ears. So use it, but don't use it excessively. Use it in an appropriate way. Now, you've also got to make sure the subject line intrigues them enough to open it. Now, I tend to use their name in it because, again, it's that personal thing, and they go, okay, must be for me, it's got my name in it. What I would recommend is don't lie in the subject lines. I've seen subject lines where people say things like, "You've got cash," or something like that. And I know people have opened them, read them, and realised that it's saying, the first line in the email is something like, "Would you like to get emails with this message subject line every day?" And you know what happens in a vast majority of the cases? People scroll down, find the unsubscribe link, and hit it. You've got to make sure your subject line is honest, describes what's in the email in a way that intrigues people enough that they're going to open it, but not enough that they don't need to open it to understand what's in there. Avoid these cliche lines like "bad news" or something like that, unless it genuinely is. I've seen all sorts of emails, and "bad news" was a subject line that one of the gurus some time ago said, "Hey, I just sent an email out with this and it was really cool." So, everybody started to go, "Oh, bad news, let's try that." And a lot of people found that they got a very high unsubscribe rate. You've got to be very, very careful with the subject line you use. It's got to be enough information to make them want to open it, but not enough that they don't need to. It has to be honest, so that when they open it, they don't feel a sense of disappointment, because if they do, they will unsubscribe. But that's some information about what you need to send to your list. It's not too difficult. You've got to get the balance right, but that's going to come from testing, from watching your unsubscribe rate and your click-through rate and how many sales you make. But you'll get there. It's different from every niche. Unfortunately, I can't give you a figure. Rough idea is 3 to 4 soft sales to every hard sell. It can sometimes help, by the way, if you send a gift out just before the hard sell, or just after, or you send gifts every now and then. Again, you're going to have to test it. But typically, if you send a gift just before a hard sell, people have this sort of feeling that they almost owe you something. So when the hard sell comes through, they're going to feel a bit more a bit more eager to buy. They're going to feel like they owe you something almost. So that's some information on what to send to your list. Experiment, monitor your open rate, monitor your unsubscribe rate. If after an email you get a massive unsubscribe rate, I'd go and check that email, because there's possibly something wrong with it that's really annoyed your customers. So, just be aware of that monitoring. But, keep the subject line honest, descriptive, but not too descriptive. You want people to be intrigued and open your email. Building a relationship is absolutely vital if you want to sell to your list. If you don't have a relationship with your list, you're going to struggle to make sales. You're going to find that your conversion rate is going to be right down. You're going to find that your open rate is going to be low. Building a relationship is something you do no matter whether you're sending messages out that are handwritten every time or whether it's an autoresponder sequence. You need to make sure that the autoresponder sequence, if that's what you've used, is designed to build that relationship with your list and establish a level of trust. If you do that, you'll find that you will sell products. A good relationship can significantly increase your conversion rate for any sales message. I've known of joint venture partners and affiliates who can email their list and get conversion rates of sort of 8 to 10% if it's something that's good, because they've got a good relationship. The list trusts them, and the list knows that the only thing they're ever going to be sent is valuable information and good resources, and that they're not going to be sent any old promotion and any old product because the list owner wants to earn a few bucks. Because the list owner's built this good relationship, they get an incredible conversion rate. But as I said, you've got to balance content and sales. If you're constantly sending sales messages, you're not building a relationship. People do not like being sold to. It's human nature. Ask anybody you know and ask them if they like to be sold to, and I guarantee they'll say no. People hate it. Think about it. If you're in a shop and someone comes up and says, starts trying to sell you something, you say no and walk away in most cases, unless you've got a real interest, which is a rarity. It's easier, I feel, to build a relationship with handwritten autoresponders, i.e. you write the message every time you send it. However, that can be actually quite difficult to do. It might be easy if you've got one list, you've got 5 lists, it gets hard, 10 lists, very hard. Over that, almost impossible. So what you need to do is handwrite your autoresponder sequence as if you are handwriting it to them every time. So include a few personal stories, talk about yourself, do what you need to build a relationship with them. Don't be dishonest, because if you're dishonest you may forget, and later on you say something else and you get caught out and suddenly you've lost all that trust you've built. So build a relationship with handwritten autoresponders. You don't have to write the messages every single time. You may want to do that for 1 or 2 lists if you've got particular favourite lists or niches that you're really keen on. But in general, if you handwrite the autoresponders, so as if you were talking to them, as if it was a handwritten message every time, what you'll find is you'll get a good sequence of messages that will build a relationship. Now, you may decide to have a main list or a niche list that you're particularly keen on, that you decide to handwrite every single time. If that's the case, that's fair enough. Feel free to do it. Be aware that you need to make sure that the messages go out roughly at the same times, and that way people know what to expect. But you don't have to do that. You can load up an autoresponder sequence with pre-written messages, and that will work just as well. Your niche lists would typically be pre-written autoresponders. These may be ones that you've bought, or they may be courses that you've purchased, or whatever it might be. But you're not going to be able to do handwritten emails every single time, send them out as a broadcast to your list, simply because it's physically impossible. What you're doing when you're building a relationship with them is establishing yourself as an expert. You want to become an authority figure. You want to become someone that they look at and go, yeah, he knows what he's talking about, or she knows what he's talking about. So, you want to get that level of expertise, someone that they know they can go to, someone that they know will provide them with a good amount of information. You always need to be professional with your list. Whenever you're dealing with them, be professional in every way. Never, put down other people's products. never put down people, never, you know, be too controversial. You know, things like, for example, you know, if you don't like the current president or king or whatever it might be, don't start ranting to your list about it, because you may find that half your list does, and they're really keen on them, and unsubscribes. So always be professional. Sure, talk about yourself, talk about what you've been doing and things like that, but don't enter into controversial grounds. You know, things like politics, religion, sex, things like that are all subjects you should really avoid with your list, unless your list is signed up for that sort of information. You know, if it's a list that wants information on subjects like that, then you can send it. Now, one thing you need to do is don't sweat about unsubscribes. People are going to unsubscribe all the time for various reasons. They haven't got time, whatever it might be. Don't worry about them. Think of it as your list becoming more targeted and cleaner. You know, you're going to get unsubscribes. Just let them sort of float past you. Don't worry about them. You're always going to find that for whatever reason people are going to want to unsubscribe. Usually it's not personal, but even if it is, it doesn't matter. It's just cleaning your list. You're going to go and get some new subscribers and you'll be fine. Now, one thing that you do need to avoid is the bandwagons. Yeah, every product list, every new PLR product, whatever, some people market to the list and market it to death. Don't jump on all of these bandwagons. You will build a very, very good relationship with your list if you only recommend good products. Now, I know marketers that will send you everything, and I mean everything. And I was curious about one of the products one of these marketers sent out, and I thought, well, it's only a few dollars. I'm a little bit curious. It sounds like it might be interesting, but it doesn't sound quite right. So I bought it, and I can honestly say I have never, ever read such a terrible report in my life. It looked like it had been written by a 4-year-old. The grammar was bad, the spelling was bad. There wasn't actually any content in it. It was information that I could have found in 10 minutes on Google, and I could have put together a better report than that in that 10 minutes. It was literally like copy and paste articles without actually any real information in there. There was nothing in it that you would read and go, oh wow, yeah, that's really useful. You'd read the whole report, get to the end of it and think, I just wasted 20 minutes of my life. But this marketer was promoting it. And then, do you know what was even worse? I saw, it was obviously a PLR report that people had bought from somewhere. I saw other people marketing it as well. I couldn't believe it. I ended up writing to loads of these people and saying, look, do you realise what it is you're promoting? Have you read it? And do you know what? 2 of them came back and said, no, we haven't looked at it at all. They've just promoted a product to their list without bothering reading it. Make sure you promote stuff that you know is good. You know, don't promote everything that comes along. Be selective. Your list will value you for it, and you'll build a better relationship as a trusted expert because of it. Particularly if the products that you recommend are good quality products, then you'll find your relationship with your list will improve further, because they know that you're not someone that's going to peddle rubbish to them. You're not a trash merchant. Anything you say is going to be good. And it's going to take a little while. It may take weeks or even months to build up that level of trust. But when you've got it, you're going to find that your conversion rate for messages that you send out selling things is going to go up significantly. Now, every product launch has its own set of pre-written emails, and everybody uses these to promote them. Don't do it. Don't use those pre-written emails. You may be tempted to, and you may think, oh, well, I'll just send that out. It'll be quick. You know what? It's going to just ruin your relationship with your list, because I will guarantee your list member, particularly in internet marketing, has probably received a dozen or more emails with that subject line, if not more. You know, everybody would send out the same message, and they'd read it and think, oh, God, not another product launch. And then they'd decide to either buy it from a trusted advisor, someone who they know can provide them with good information. They'd either pick the person that's offering the best bonuses, or not bother buying it at all. So if you write your own review of the product in your own words, you're going to get a better conversion rate. Particularly if you then say, well, if you decide to buy through my link, I'm going to give you these valuable bonuses, and make sure they are valuable. But one thing to do if you want to build a relationship is really to talk about yourself and have a personality. Don't be frightened to actually be somebody and have, maybe the personality is going to be slightly controversial. Maybe it's going to be, a shouty, angry person. Maybe it's going to be a nice person. Maybe it's just going to be you being friendly. Whatever it is, have a personality in your emails. Make sure it shines through. There's nothing worse than getting an email from someone and it being dead boring because you're not going to read it. You want it to be friendly and chatty and good to get to. Now, if your online persona is different, then make sure it's in keeping with that persona. But don't be frightened to talk about yourself. One of the best lists I'm on, I regularly get movie reviews. The person who owns the list will send a message out, say, well, went to the cinema last night with the wife and we saw this movie. It was dreadful, or it was really good. And you get this lovely insight into his life, and you end up feeling like he's a friend, someone you know, yet you've never met him. And he has one of the highest conversion rates from his list that I know of. So talking about yourself will help build a relationship. If you don't build a relationship with your list, you are going to struggle to make sales to them. With a good relationship with your list, where you're in a position of trusted advisor, you're going to find that your conversion rate from any sales messages is going to go up. So make sure everything you do is focused on building this relationship. Now, finding content for your list. This is the real interesting one for you. You've got to make sure that you find decent quality content for your list. Now, what works best is if you handwrite every single message. Now, you don't have to handwrite each message every single time you're going to send a message. You can handwrite them so that they go into an autoresponder sequence for your buyers, your subscribers to view as and when they get to it. You can do it that way. It's not practical to do this possibly if you have a lot of lists. If you're creating a website a day, it may be hard to get the autoresponder sequence together as part of that. So you may end up having to buy in content or using other content, which is what we're talking about here. But you writing the messages is absolutely the best way, because your personality comes through, you can build a relationship, they're unique messages, people are going to get to know you and get a feel for you from those messages. What you need to do is you create an autoresponder sequence that markets your products. You can sell affiliate products, obviously, and CPA offers, so I'd stay away from CPA offers because they can be difficult. You've got to take into account suppression lists and all sorts. But you basically market your product in the autoresponder sequence. And if you've got a product site and they've signed up for the pre-sales autoresponder, you market the product bit by bit in there. You give them a bit of information, tell them why the product's so good, send them to the sales page. Or it might be that what you do is you do a training course, and that training course recommends either your products or affiliate programs. So that's either what you could do in them. But whatever you're doing, remember your autoresponder sequence is focused on building a relationship and on making sales. When you have something special to promote, like a hot new product, or you find a new affiliate program or something like that, then you send out a broadcast message. That goes out to everybody on your list pretty much instantly, and is a special message in addition to the autoresponder sequence. If it's a good product, you may want to build it into the autoresponder sequence in order for new subscribers to see it and for other people to buy it later on. So you've got to consider that as well. Now, you can buy pre-written autoresponder sequences. I've found a number of people that will sell these, and you can get anything from 21 to 52 part courses. Now, these are okay for you to buy. They're very good starting points. I wouldn't really use them as is. You will get a high unsubscribe rate simply because people will read the emails and realise that perhaps they've got them from other places. You've got to remember, people who are looking for information will often subscribe for 3 or 4 lists, go to a number of different websites looking for that information. Now, if you're sending out the same information as everyone else, then you're going to struggle to make sales because people are going to look at it and be, either pick one at random or not buy anything. So they're great starting points, but I'd recommend that you need to rewrite them. And very least is you've got to put your own introduction and conclusion on it. But I'd recommend rewriting them significantly more than that. You can pay somebody to do that. It costs you a few dollars per email. But yeah, if you rewrite them, you're going to have maximum effect. Think about it. If I'm trying to, thinking about buying a car, for example, I don't just go to one place and say, right, I'm buying the car from there. I go to half a dozen different places. If I'm thinking about stopping smoking, I'm not just going to go to one website and say that'll do. I'm going to research a number of websites that offer products to help me stop smoking. What I would probably do is subscribe to their lists as well and look at their e-courses to just help me decide, is that a product I want? But if 4 of them are sending me the same messages, I'm probably going to discount them as rubbish simply because they can't be bothered sending me simple messages. It's human psychology. And what I'll do is the 5th one that's sending me unique messages, they are instantly going to be more valuable and more effective in my mind. Now you can use articles as well as content for your list. Now these could be your own, they could be PLR articles, or they could be articles from article directories. I'd recommend avoiding the article directories unless you're desperate, simply because if you use an article directory article, you have to include the resource box of somebody else, so you're sending traffic to somebody else's website. Now I'd use your own articles or PLR articles. PLR, again, I would rewrite a bit, certainly top and tail it, and rewrite it to focus it towards my list. Articles are a good source of content for your list, and you can use them very effectively. I'd also send out product reviews. Product reviews work very, very well as well. Review products that are of interest to your list, that you want to sell them, and be honest in the review. You know, tell them what's negative about it, tell them what other products do better. Often a comparison review actually does very well. You talk about one product and you say, well, at the end you say, well, it's very, very good, this product, but I do feel that it's lacking in this point, this point, this point, and this point. What I have found is that this other product, product B, does everything that product A does, plus has all these additional features. Yeah, I know it's a little bit more expensive, but it's worth it for the additional features. And you'll find you make a lot of sales from that, because people will buy product A because they think, well, I'm not spending the money on product B. And a lot of people buy product B because they think, well, I'm not wasting my money on product A when product B does so much more. Works very, very well. And it works very well in an email as well. And finally, you can use content from your own products or from PLR products. Some PLR products have in their rights that you can use them as web content, in which case feel free to do so. Some of your own products can make good content. You can take excerpts from your books or your video courses, whatever it might be, and use those as content. What you'll find is it can help, particularly if you're trying to sell your product. You can use sample chapters, bits out of the product, and then sort of tell them that, well, the rest of this is in the product itself. But the content for your list is very, very important. It's going to help build a relationship. It's going to help make you sales. So you've got to make sure you have good quality content, particularly outside of internet marketing. The quality of the content is vitally important. Make sure it's really, really good, but don't give away the farm. If you try and sell a product, don't give so much away in your list, in your autoresponder sequence, that they don't have to buy the product. You want to give away enough that they have to buy the product, but not enough that they don't have to. Enough that they realise that the product is of value to them, but not enough that they don't need the information that's in the rest of the product. So finding that balance may take a little while. Use your common sense and you'll work it out. But make sure you get good quality content, because it'll help you with your conversion rates, it'll help you with your subscriber retention rate, and ultimately it's going to help you to make money. Lists are a vital part of internet marketing. Too many marketers don't build a list. If you don't build a list, you are losing money. Marketers can make more money from a single email to their list than they can from all their product sales put together. Yeah, a list is an incredibly valuable resource, particularly if you've built a good relationship to them. I know marketers who earn a 6-figure income just from their list. You too could be one of these people. You got to build a big list, you got to build a good relationship with them and email them, and you can earn from them. It provides you with a valuable additional stream of income. It's pretty much money on tap. If you find yourself in suddenly needing some cash, you email your list. A couple of days later, your PayPal account is looking very healthy. Obviously, providing you send out something of value to them. But a valuable additional stream of income, this can make a massive difference to your online earnings. It could literally double the amount you earn online. The amount it will increase your revenue is quite awesome. And said, the first time you email your list and you get buyers back, it's going to blow you away. But it will increase your revenue significantly from using your list. And don't be frightened to email them. Don't sit there and go, well, they wouldn't want to hear from me. I'm no one important. They've asked for information from you. Send them valuable information and you'll see a good response. What you need to make sure you do is every single web page you own has a method of capturing email addresses. You want an entry point into one of your autoresponder sequences. If you do that, then your subscribers are never going to escape and you're always going to make the most of your website visitors. Think about it. If someone's come to your website, they may never ever come back to your website. So you have that opportunity to capture their email address and build your list. And if you don't do it, then you've lost them. So make sure whatever web page it is, it captures email addresses. You must value your list and remember they're real people. Sending them sales message after sales message and just thinking that, hey, they're just a stream of money, that's not really respectful. And it's going to come across in your emails and you're going to find people unsubscribe. I remember one marketer some years ago, and he was a bit of an arrogant so-and-so, and he sent an email message out to his list saying, I've just seen a guitar down at the local shop, I really want it, it's $12,000, come on, buy this product so I can go and get my guitar. And he had a phenomenal unsubscribe rate from that message, absolutely phenomenal. I know because he was a friend of mine at the time, and well, a colleague, and we were talking, and I remember him telling me that his unsubscribe rate was astronomical, and we're talking sort of 50% of people, and that's only the people that obviously opened it. So you've got to value your list and treat them as a valued resource, and if you do that, then they're going to respect you and treat you well and buy products. Now, one thing you can do to increase your sign-ups is to use gifts. These need to be valuable gifts, ideally gifts that you've created yourself, that either pre-sell your product or sell other affiliate products in order for you to maximize your revenue. You want to target your lists and focus emails to them. Make sure that each email is getting emails, each list is getting emails that are specifically of interest to them. Don't send your parrot training list information on how to train a cockatiel, because they're probably going to be offended. Don't send your dog training list information on how to keep fish. They're not going to be interested. Keep your list separate and make sure that you focus every email to them to their interests and their needs. If you do that, you're going to get a much higher conversion rate. You need to condition your list to be sold to. Your list is going to expect emails from you, but if the emails are all information and suddenly send a sales message, they're going to be upset. What you need to do is condition them to the fact that they're going to get sales messages, and they'll respect that, and they will be ready for a sales message. When they get a sales message, if you're sending soft sales and everyone, they're not going to be shocked when the sales message actually comes through. But the most important part of list building is to build a relationship with them. Put yourself or build a relationship so that you end up in the position of a trusted advisor, someone that they know they can trust, someone that they know that when they go to them they get good information, they know that they're going to peddle good products and not rubbish. So build that relationship and you'll see your conversion rate increases, and so the amount of money you earn. Always provide quality content. Don't be tempted to just provide pre-written rubbish. If you're using pre-written content, you really do need to rewrite it if you bought it. Make sure all the content is relevant, of interest, and as cutting edge as possible. You want to make sure that there's stuff in your list they can't get anywhere else. So always provide that high quality content. Make sure you take action in what you've learnt in this course. Okay, if you always focus on building a list, everything you do online needs to be focused on building that list. Whether you're setting up a new product site, an AdSense site, or a social network, or whatever it might be, the focus must be on building a list, because that's where the money is. Now, if you take action on what you learn here, you too could be earning thousands of dollars from every email you send to your list. And that is perfectly true. You build a list of 10,000, you could earn $1,000 plus a month from them. Make sure you build this list. And if you build this list, you provide quality content, a good balance between sales and information, you build a good relationship, you condition them to be sold to, then you can earn extremely well from your list. Not only will it provide you a valuable additional income, it could provide you with a full-time income and possibly double or even triple your online earnings. But it's up to you now to take action and start building this list, and if you do that, then you are going to be making a good amount of money from that list. You have all the information you need now, and it's up to you to take action.